This is the trip where I saw my colleagues. Like, I think it's your boobs and and Raz butt.
TheSmartLocal.com.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Can you share some of your most memorable or epic work travel stories?
We was with them lah. We went to Mongolia like late last year.
One of the most memorable, in a bad way, story was Zhin falling off the horse. If you watch the travel video, you know. But actually, it is much worse than it was being told in the video.
Falling off is kind of putting it mildly. He was kind of thrown off.
We were all like on the horse holding our equipments. There were some of us where actually the guide will hold the string for the horse. For me and John, it was like, okay lah, we are quite comfortable. Like, I think the horse likes us, it's gonna be fine, it's gonna ride solo. The last memory I had was the moon. It was, wow, it's like moon. I was like leaning backwards, so my back hit the horse's butt. And the horse like freaked out. And then the horse like suddenly like, then I'm like, oh my god, fuck! I remember going up towards the mountain. I kind of like saw my life flash by.
Fast forward.
Because like really like at that point in time you are in such a moment where you don't know what to do and you know that you're just gonna either get really badly injured or die one. I fell on my back and then I just lost consciousness. And then I could hear like she was like, Zhin! Yeah, okay. I'm like, I cannot move.
I was freaking terrified, right? Because I saw the whole thing. I saw the silhouette of Zhin and the horse up the mountain. At that point in time, I was thinking, well, GG, if the horse don't stop, right, we cannot find you. Cause no connection. But after that, it U-turn like, it dashed up, like, GG again. Then the next thing, I heard pam, and then silence.
Then you hear the guide's horse run over.
And then when we shout Zhin, he never replied.
The first thing that happened after he fell off, one of the guys carried Sue down from her horse.
For context, there are two. One shepherd, one guide.
Yeah, I was looking for Zhin on my horse, and then my horse started to run. I was like, oh my god. The first thing I remember doing was I pulled the reins very hard. So the horse stopped. But then the horse was still very spooked, so it started to try to bug me off. That is where I saw my knight in shining. Justin, if you see this, I'm sorry. At that moment, my heart was for him. He ride the horse, right? His butt can stick up from the horse. So he like stand.
Wow, he really damn hardcore. He got right damn fast. Then he e-brake. Then he dismount damn fast. Then he tried to stop the horse with his body. Then after he take Amanda down. Then I was like, wow.
I was like, He carried me like then he carried me like I'm a feather. Like, I was like,
He is 17 by the way.
Let me tell you my version. So because I was at the front of the pack, right, the moment Sue was put down, my horse started to just walk on its own into the Mongolian darkness. It did not panic. It just kept going at like gear 1. It went off to the point where I cannot see you anymore. I was just like, holy shit, if my horse panics, now I will surely die. It really went on for a good while. Then I told myself, okay, a bit of survival instinct must kick in. Then I was like, okay, so I must try to recognize some of the landmarks.
no landmark, I only got moon.
No, but like the shape, so I always face this direction, for example. So I'm just like, turns out my horse, right, was quite smart. So it rode all the way back to the car park where we started. Because suddenly out of nowhere, motorcycle like, and then like, wow! It was the shepherd's like other friends. Then he was probably quite stunned because there's only one horse and one non-Mongolian rider. He said something, then he helped me down, and I was like, I didn't die. When y'all appeared, I was like, wow, nobody died. Yes! Objective achieved.
But I was very amazed that Zhin could walk after he was thrown off the horse.
Ironically, did the gimbal case kind of cushion you from the rocks?
It did, it did.
Which is mad, because the thing that spooked the horse is also the thing that protected his back.
I think I can't tell from the video, right? But Zhin was helping throughout and
I'm just glad we all alive.
And the trip went very well after that.
That is a travel story that is hard to beat.
Really? Early 2019, the four of us traveled to Darwin together. Basically, we just traveled through the outbacks using a camper van.
Well, it was very memorable for someone.
No, for everyone. But it was a nightmare for someone.
And then someone is me.
We were driving to multiple places lah. So there was one night we drove to this specific campsite. We don't actually bathe on the camper van itself lah, because the campsite got the toilet. For some of the place, right, the ladies didn't really use the toilet there, which is actually better.
Okay, the only problem is because it was in the wilderness. So like at night when you on the light, right, got a lot of insects fly to the light.
It was the outbacks, okay? It wasn't just insects, it was humongous giant insects!
The grasshopper this big, okay?
The moth this big, okay?
Oh my god, I just saw lizard climb and there's a lot of lizard on top.
Got baby one and got big one. Oh my god! On the ceiling. Basically, right, I was the first to shower in this toilet, and I was okay to use that toilet because it was the cleanest toilet out of the entire 9 days. There were no insects, but there were frogs, and I didn't know. So I was happily showering, right? Suddenly, I felt something touch my foot. So this is my foot, something touched my foot like that. I looked down. It's a freaking lime green frog with neon orange toes, and it was this big. Wow, I freaked out, man. I've never been so scared for my life, eh.
Then suddenly we hear one like a legit, like a scary movie scream. I legit thought some murder stuff.
So I screamed, right? Then I don't dare to move because I scared if I move, the frog will jump on my naked body. The first thing Maverick says is, please don't step on the frog.
Yeah, dude, I scared for his life. When people break down, they're irrational, then they can do a lot of stupid
Yeah,
things.
exactly.
Yeah, she almost did stupid thing. She wanted to run out naked.
Yes.
You know what she said? Hey, I'm coming out. You guys close your eyes. Walao, you guys got a towel.
I finally stepped out of the cubicle and I just grabbed my towel. Then I like, guys, y'all just stand around. I'm gonna come out now. So I literally just went out with a towel around me only.
Not only that, with your hair with soap, everything just dripping all
Her
over.
hair was white and foamy because of the soap.
Oh, you never turn around, lah. White and foamy, So you know next time you go to this kind of outback, you don't be the first, you don't be the last. I'm the last one, then when I'm the last one, actually more cockroach come in. Because they feel the heat and the water. Yeah. So when you go to this kind of place, cannot be the first, cannot be the last.
Let's start with one of our favorite work trips ever.
To Akita.
To Akita!
This is the trip where I saw my colleagues. Think about it. We went together with Thaddeus and Ra. The very first night, we had to go to a Japanese homestay. The homestay was great. The hosts were very friendly. But little did we know, right? After dinner,
They drove us a short drive away to this like Japanese onsen place. That is our only chance to bathe. So if you don't bathe there, right, after I come back cannot bathe already. Thaddeus, who is the only guy, he went with the host to the guy's side lah. So good luck to him. The worst part is the three of us. We went to the female side, and then we were all only given this small towel. I think a bit smaller, like that.
when they give us the toiletries, right, straight away, right, I was like, oh my f***ing god.
And we stand there like three silly idiots, right, discussing how the heck to go inside the onsen. Then at some point we were like, okay.
Yeah, so in the end we did lah. So we start taking our own corners of the changing room. They were all like,
Ready?
go, go, go. Then we start like whining and shit. Me and Ra had to take out our glasses. And then we like started to celebrate a bit like, oh my god, you cannot see it. So that's great. And then Adria was like, what, I got contact lens. I need to shave everywhere. So I was quite ready.
We finally went in, soaked in the onsen already.
Yeah.
Thank god that water so got refraction. You cannot really see the actual like, it's not clear.
No, and we still have towels, so we use it to cover our body. But it was so tiny that I think I'd rather not cover anything. Water don't cover. It's either you cover on top, you let go your bottom, or you cover your bottom, you're on top.
We run to the outdoor.
Yeah,
onsen.
outdoor means like, okay, on top cold, then below hot, right? We just f*** it already, right? Let's just continue on our journey and experience the outside one. Adria go first, Ra, then after that me. We just like, okay, 3, 2, 1, go! We really said, we make sure that we won't look up. But I don't know whether you know, but I take a few pics.
Oh my god! What frick? Shit!
Wait, then you got see anything?
Boobs lah. Oh my god! I think it's your boobs and and Ra's butt.
Oh my god!
Wait, did you see my body though? Confirm haven't.
No, not on purpose.
Okay, so you did see.
I think I see mid-riff. Quite fair and quite toned, I think.
The second part of the trip, we have a private onsen in our room. So all 4 of us, together with Thaddeus, we were just like, woohoo! We weren't naked lah, of course. If it's not for the first onsen experience, right, I think the second part, it will be a lot more awkward.
I guess I never expected that one day on a work trip, I will get so comfortable with my colleagues.
Yeah.
There comes the funny part of the trip where I was drunk.
So in Mongolia, right, their greeting, right, is that you must take 3 shots of Mongolian vodka.
By the way, the vodka, right, is like 30-something%.
Even Siu's size, 3 shots is very clearly different from me versus her, right?
Plus, I don't drink, so my level of tolerance for alcohol is damn low. So throughout the entire trip, right, whenever we are offered 3 shots, I always like sneakily pass to either John or Amanda. I just like, okay, sip a bit, then like, no. Because I need to be alert to work, like, right? But then on our very last day,
No more things to film. Right? The guy also know.
the guy also know we wrapped up. We met a new village chief, and then he brought this chandelier of like shot glasses.
Yeah, it's like hanging upside down one, right? Yeah, it's like go.
And after that, he poured 3 shots. And the thing is, he will watch me drink.
Yeah. They will like glare at you like that.
Then they all finish and they just boom like that.
Okay, the thing about a shot, right, or any shot for that matter, is that you have to tar the shot one go, right?
Yeah.
John Zhin keep saying, you just tar the thing so you don't, feel the bitterness. Then she, okay, I try. Then by the second shot, right, she was sitting there like that.
Yeah, that's the exact position. Then like when you catch her attention, right, the only thing that moves is her eyebrow.
Yeah, she's like, yes.
Okay.
Can only bring 1.
3.5 shots and this is it.
So let's say if you buy a lot,
The guy just kept giving us shots.
Yeah, man.
And it's pure vodka, huh? He never mixed anything.
Yeah.
No
Really?
ice, no nothing.
After we were done drinking, then it was time for us to drive back to the city, right? I don't even know how I get into the car.
It was a 13-hour drive and she slept for the first like 7 hours. I asked her, do you want to stop for a pee break or anything? Because we go and top up gas. And she was like, no, I feel very dizzy. Then she just continued to sleep. And then suddenly when we drove off, I think like less than half an hour later, I need to pee! Amanda, I need to pee! Then I was like, oh, okay. Then I was like, Eddie, I think she need to pee. So he was like, oh, okay. So there's no toilet, right?
Yeah.
So we just pee out in the giant wilderness. She opened the door, then she ran. Then I was like, oh shit, why she run so fast? So I ran after her with my jacket, right? Then she said, help me cover my butt. Immediately, right, she just take out her pants. Then she pee, right? Then she got no shame whatsoever. She squat down there for 15 minutes in -5. I was wearing 1 layer and she couldn't get her pee out.
Oh my god!
You know the feeling where you tahan for way too long, right? Then you,
Until stuck.
yeah. Then it cannot come out. Then I like, okay, you don't talk to me, ah. I concentrate. But then the wind blowing down there, I'm very tickly. Because it's cold.
Then she keeps saying, why my pee don't come out? Why? Then I was like, I also don't know.
So in the end, you pee?
I didn't. So I really couldn't. So when we make the next pit stop, right, I tried to pee again. Yeah, I could. But this time round, it was not behind any bushes. It was literally next to the road. Then there was cars going by, but I didn't care.
Is it a petrol kiosk?
Yes.
Oh my god, I remember that.
I was low-key worried because she never drink water. So it's a very strange feeling, right? That you need to pee but you don't have water.
Later she says she pee but you smell vodka.
You know how we are at the outbacks of Australia? Usually the campsite got Wi-Fi one. During then I was talking to the car park lot, the car lah. Whenever we got rest time, they are like, hey, don't use the phone. Then I'm like, okay, give me 5 more minutes.
Oh my god, you know how long is 5 minutes last or not? I tell you. Every day he say 5 minutes and
When I see my
least 25 minutes.
He lied to us at the point time he told us it's about what?
Hello, Bolin! You know, every time we want to move off from one place to another, right? He say, give me 5 minutes.
And also cause the Wi-Fi is the place, so he cannot leave the place.
You know his catchphrase in Darwin is what or not? This is
This is not the main story, okay? The night that the place don't have Wi-Fi, the car, we were overheating, no? Last minute is like, I think that's it, I'm gonna drive out of the block. So the car drive out of the block, then you tell me, don't have Wi-Fi, oh! Then I was like, the main twist of the story is they revealed to me that actually we have password but we never give you. You guys all pack up together say, hey, let's not give to the Bolin. Let the Bolin Chen just don't use the phone.
That's not a bad accent.
For this to work, right, 3 of us must stick together.
I think that one, right, is
Okay,
all outside.
we cannot give him the paper.
Here comes the best part. I think we are having dinner. Then she'll hold the camera. Oh, turn on, no. Hey, Bolin, we want to tell you something. Actually, this place got Wi-Fi. Then she take out she still torn me, the piece of ticket. Take out, like, when she say, here got Wi-Fi, I'm very desperate and I smart. I'm like, Wi-Fi? Then I'm like the predator mode. I'm dying.
Bolin, see what is this?
What the hell? No, no! I need my internet! I need to connect with the internet! I will kick you!
I'm finishing the bucket already.
You know what's the worst part? He put inside of his mouth already, he take out, right? The Wi-Fi password gone.
So I put inside, then they keep talking and talking, and I keep rub. Then I said, okay, let him use okay, I play finish already lah. Yes, answer lah. Then I'm like, I take out. The username there, the password gone lah. So from that day onwards, so I a bit wary of whether the place got Wi-Fi. So before I reach, right, so that one got Wi-Fi or not? Later I ask. I go and ask.
In Mongolia, the tactic is to collect your shit until you really need to go, then you let go. Cause like we were in the desert, and the thing is, there was this night where I really need to shit. It has already developed, it is fresh, it needs to go. It was middle of the night and it was very cold, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it fast. So I went out with my phone. It was just like a small little torchlight. It's pitch dark, okay? Like it's legit pitch dark. So the thing is, I was trying to find a place to go and shit, and I cannot shit behind the hut, right? Because it's the house, what? So I was like, okay, there are some hills over there, so I'm just gonna go to the hill. Then I shit. Then I could hear like a vibration, like zzz. Then I was like, how come the hill vibrating? Shit. Then got one thing come out, a little head. Then oh shit, it's a camel. I was like, oh my god, I'm shitting right beside a camel. The thing is, if you got no Amanda to help you hold the jacket, right, you go and find a hill. Behind the hill you do. So I thought it was a hill, but it was a camel. It was that big.
It was the best trip.
It was one of the best.
It has so many like funny moments.
This was truly one of the trips that we laughed the most.
I was quite surprised though because way before the trip when I knew that I had to go with fellow colleagues that I'm not very close with. So I a bit like worried lah, how's the dynamic going to work out? Oh, it worked out fine. More than fine.
I tell you if next time go trip with you and still kena frog I tell you, you go and step. I will eat the frog.
If you eat the frog, I tell you, the next person that's gonna break down is Maverick. We cannot even kill ants, guys.
If you see an ant, you just want to press it, right? You say, it don't kill!
Why you want to press the ant? What did you do to you?
Mosquito, it don't kill!
No, mosquito kill.
The only thing we can kill is mosquitoes.
Yeah, screw mosquitoes, I hate them.
Thank you for watching this episode of Mongolian Tales.
If you like this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe.
Ring the notification bell.
And watch our other videos over there.
Bye!
Bye.